Hello and welcome. This story will help you learn English and learn about the country called Great Britain. The text is written in simple English, so everyone can understand. Now, let's begin our journey through time. Great Britain is the name of the largest island in the British Isles. This island has three main countries, England, Scotland, and Wales. But the official name of the country is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, or just the UK. It also includes Northern Ireland, which is on a different island next to Ireland. Sometimes people say, Britain, Great Britain, or the UK. These names are often used to talk about the same country, but they are not always the same thing. Great Britain is the island. The United Kingdom is the full country with all four parts, England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Now that you understand what Great Britain is, let's explore the history of this amazing country. Ancient times and the Roman era. Great Britain is a group of islands in the northwest of Europe. People have lived there for thousands of years. The first people were hunters and gatherers. They used stones to make tools. Later, people started farming. They built houses and lived in small villages. One famous place from this time is Stonehenge. It is a circle of big stones. Nobody knows exactly why it was built. Around 700 BC, a group of people called the Celts came to Britain. They were good farmers and warriors. They had their own language and culture. They lived in tribes and built strong houses on hills. The Celts used iron tools and made beautiful metal objects. In 43 AD, the Romans came to Britain. They were from Italy. The Roman army was very strong. They built roads, cities, and baths. One of their cities was called Londinium. Today, it is known as London. The Romans stayed in Britain for about 400 years. They brought new laws, buildings, and even the Latin language. But in 410 AD, the Romans left. They had problems at home and needed their soldiers. Anglo-Saxons and Vikings. After the Romans left, different tribes came to Britain. The most important were the Anglo-Saxons. They came from Germany and Denmark. They made many small kingdoms. The Anglo-Saxons brought their own language, which later became English. They also followed a religion with many gods, but later, they became Christians. In the 800s, new invaders came. These were the Vikings. They came from Norway and Denmark. They attacked towns and took land. Some Vikings stayed in Britain and lived there. The Anglo-Saxons fought back. One famous king was Alfred the Great. He stopped the Vikings and made peace. The Norman Conquest and medieval England. In 1066, a big change happened. William the Conqueror came from France. He fought the English King Harold at the Battle of Hastings. William won and became the King of England. This event is called the Norman Conquest. William and his men spoke French. For a long time, English kings and nobles spoke French. The Normans built many castles and strong stone buildings. They also made a big book called the Domesday Book. It listed all the people and things in England. This helped the king collect taxes. Over time, the English language changed. It took many words from French. In the 1200s, English kings began to lose power. The nobles wanted more rights. In 1215, they made King John sign the Magna Carta. This document said the king must follow the law. It was an important step for democracy. The Black Death and the 100 Years' War. In the 1300s, a terrible disease came to Britain. It was called the Black Death. It killed nearly half the people. This caused many problems. There were fewer workers, and life changed for everyone. Some peasants asked for better pay. There were protests, like the Peasants' Revolt in 1381. At the same time, England was fighting a long war with France. It was called the 100 Years' War. It lasted from 1337 to 1453. Many battles were fought. One of the most famous was the Battle of Agincourt. The English won, but they later lost most of their land in France. The war ended badly for England, but it made the country more united. The Tudors and the English Reformation. In 1485, a new king became ruler. His name was Henry VII. He started the Tudor family. His son, Henry VIII, is one of the most famous kings. Henry VIII had 6 wives. He also changed the church in England. Before, the church followed the Pope in Rome. But Henry made himself the head of the Church of England. This was called the English Reformation. Henry's daughter Elizabeth I became queen in 1558. She ruled for 45 years. This time is known as the Elizabethan Age. England became a strong country. The navy grew powerful. In 1588, the English navy beat the Spanish Armada. It was a great victory. During Elizabeth's time, arts and theatre became popular. William Shakespeare wrote many famous plays. England also began to explore the world. Ships went to America and other places. This was the start of the British Empire. The Stuarts and the English Civil War. After Queen Elizabeth I died in 1603, the Tudor family ended. The new king was James I. He was from Scotland and started the Stuart dynasty. James believed that kings had a special right to rule. He thought no one could question a king. But many people in England disagreed. They wanted more power for Parliament, the group that helps make laws. James's son, Charles I, became king in 1625. He also believed in strong royal power. He needed money, but Parliament did not always give it to him. So, Charles shut down Parliament. Later, he needed more money again, and he brought Parliament back. But this led to big problems. In 1642, a war started between the king's supporters, called Royalists, and Parliament's army, called Parliamentarians. This war was called the English Civil War. It lasted for many years. In 1649, the Parliamentarians won. Charles I was arrested and later executed. It was a shocking moment. For the first time, an English king was put to death by his own people. After that, England became a republic, ruled by Oliver Cromwell. He was a strong leader, but also very strict. Some people liked him, but many did not. When he died in 1658, his son tried to rule, but it did not go well. The Restoration and the Glorious Revolution. In 1660, the monarchy came back. Charles II, the son of the executed king, returned to England. This period is called the Restoration. Life became more relaxed again. Theatre and music became popular. But there were still problems. In 1665, the Great Plague killed many people in London. In 1666, the Great Fire of London destroyed much of the city. After Charles II died, his brother James II became king. But James was Catholic, and most English people were Protestant. They feared James would try to change the country's religion. In 1688, a group of leaders asked William of Orange, who was married to James's daughter Mary, to come and take the crown. James ran away, and William and Mary became king and queen. This event is called the Glorious Revolution. It was glorious because it happened without a big war. A new law called the Bill of Rights was passed. It gave more power to Parliament and less to the king or queen. This made England a constitutional monarchy, where the ruler must follow the law. The growth of the British Empire. In the 1700s, Britain began to grow its power around the world. The country had a strong navy, which helped it explore and trade. Britain started colonies in America, the Caribbean, India, and Africa. This was the beginning of the British Empire. In 1707, England and Scotland joined to become one country called Great Britain. Later, in 1801, Ireland was added, and the country became the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. During this time, the slave trade grew. British ships took slaves from Africa to work in America. Many people got rich from this. But others started to fight against it. In 1807, the slave trade was banned in the British Empire. In 1833, slavery itself was made illegal. The Industrial Revolution. In the late 1700s and early 1800s, Britain changed a lot. This time is called the Industrial Revolution. New machines were invented. People started to make goods in factories instead of at home. This made things faster and cheaper. Coal and iron were very important. Coal was used to power machines and trains. Iron was used to build machines, bridges, and buildings. Steam engines helped run trains and boats. These changes made Britain very rich and powerful. Many people moved from the countryside to cities to find work. Cities like Manchester, Birmingham, and Glasgow grew quickly. But life in cities was hard. Houses were crowded and dirty. Many workers, even children, had long hours and low pay. Some people tried to make life better. They built schools and helped poor families. Laws were passed to stop children from working too much. Over time, more people got the right to vote. This helped give more power to the people. Queen Victoria and the Victorian era. In 1837, Queen Victoria became the ruler of Britain. She was only 18 years old. She stayed queen for 63 years, until 1901. This time is called the Victorian era. It was a time of great change and growth for Britain. Britain became the richest and most powerful country in the world. It ruled a very large empire. People used to say that the sun never sets on the British Empire, because Britain controlled land all around the world. During the Victorian era, there were many inventions. Trains, electric lights, and the telephone were all created. Factories and cities grew even bigger. Life for many people got better. Schools opened in every town. More children learned to read and write. Newspapers became popular. But life was not good for everyone. Many people were poor. They lived in dirty homes and worked long hours. Some children still worked in factories or mines. Famous writers like Charles Dickens wrote books about the lives of poor people. One of his books, Oliver Twist, showed how hard life could be for children. During this time, people began to care more about helping others. Churches and charities gave food and shelter to the poor. The government started to make new laws to improve housing and working conditions. There were also big steps forward for women. Some women became teachers or nurses. They also started fighting for equal rights. At the end of the Victorian period, more people believed that women should have the right to vote. World War I. In 1914, a terrible war began in Europe. It is now called World War I. Britain joined the war to support its allies, like France and Russia. The war lasted until 1918. It was one of the deadliest wars in history. Millions of people died. Many young men went to fight. Soldiers lived in trenches and faced bombs, gas, and machine guns. The war was very hard, and it shocked the world. Back home, women began to work in factories, on farms, and in offices. They made weapons, drove buses, and helped in hospitals. Their work was very important. After the war ended, life in Britain changed. People wanted peace. In 1918, a new law was passed that gave women over 30 the right to vote. It was a big step toward equality. Many people also began to believe that war should never happen again. Between the wars. The years between World War I and World War II were difficult. The economy had many problems. Lots of people were poor or without work. But there were also good things. Radios became popular. People listened to music and news at home. Cars became more common. People started going to the cinema to watch films. The world was changing quickly. In 1928, women in Britain got the same voting rights as men. This was a huge victory for equality. People also started to talk more about workers' rights, fair pay, and better living conditions. World War II. In 1939, another war began. This was World War II. A man named Adolf Hitler led Germany. He wanted to control Europe. Britain joined the fight to stop him. The war was very hard. German planes bombed British cities. This was called the Blitz. London was bombed every night for weeks. Many people had to sleep in shelters or underground stations. Children were sent to the countryside to stay safe. Winston Churchill became Prime Minister in 1940. He gave strong speeches and helped people stay brave. He said, "We shall never surrender." His words gave hope to many. Women worked again in factories and farms. They helped produce food and weapons. The whole country worked together. People had food rations, planted vegetables, and saved fuel. The war ended in 1945 when Germany and its allies were defeated. Millions of people died in the war, including many civilians. It was one of the darkest times in history, but Britain survived. After the war. After the war, Britain had many problems. Cities were damaged. There was little money. But people wanted to build a better future. In 1948, the government created the National Health Service, NHS. For the first time, everyone in the UK could go to the doctor or hospital for free. This was a big change and made life better for millions of people. New homes and schools were built. Old slums were replaced with better housing. Education became free for more children. More people went to college or university. The government also gave support to people who were sick, poor, or without jobs. This new system was called the welfare state. It helped people live better, safer lives. Britain was no longer the world's most powerful country. The empire began to end. But a new kind of Britain was growing, one with hope, fairness, and care for all. The end of empire. After World War II, the British Empire began to break apart. Many countries wanted to be independent. India became free in 1947. Other countries in Africa, the Caribbean, and Asia followed. By the 1970s, most of the empire was gone. But Britain still had strong connections with these countries. Many of them joined a group called the Commonwealth, where they cooperate peacefully. Today, more than 50 countries are part of it, including Canada, Australia, India, and South Africa. At home, Britain was changing too. People from former colonies came to live and work in the UK. In the 1950s and 60s, many people arrived from the Caribbean, India, Pakistan, and Africa. They helped build the country and became an important part of British life. Britain became a more diverse and multicultural country. This brought new food, music, traditions, and ideas. But there were also problems. Some people were not kind to newcomers. Over time, new laws were made to protect all people from racism and unfair treatment. The European Union and Brexit. In 1973, Britain joined the European Economic Community, EEC. Later, it became the European Union, EU. This helped British businesses and travelers. People could move freely between countries in the EU. They could work, study, and trade more easily. But not everyone liked this. Some people felt that the EU made too many rules. They wanted Britain to make its own laws again. This led to a big decision. In 2016, there was a vote called a referendum. People were asked if Britain should stay in the EU or leave. The result was close, but most people voted to leave. This event is called Brexit. Britain officially left the EU in 2020. Brexit changed many things. Trade with Europe became harder. Some businesses had problems. But others believed it gave the UK more freedom. A changing society. British society changed a lot in the last 50 years. More women worked outside the home. More children went to university. People lived longer, thanks to better medicine and healthcare. Technology changed daily life. In the 1990s and 2000s, computers and the internet became common. Later, smartphones changed how people talked, worked, and learned. The UK became known for its music, fashion, art, and films. Bands like the Beatles, Queen, and Coldplay became world famous. British actors and writers were loved around the world. In sport, Britain also did well. London hosted the Olympic Games in 2012. It was a proud moment. Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. The United Kingdom is made up of 4 parts: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. In the past, most power was in London. But today, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland have their own governments for local matters like education and health. This is called devolution. Some people in Scotland want to leave the UK and become an independent country. In 2014, there was a vote. Most people voted to stay. But the question is still alive, especially after Brexit. Northern Ireland has had many troubles in the past. For years, there was violence between groups who wanted to stay in the UK and others who wanted to join with Ireland. In 1998, a peace deal called the Good Friday Agreement was signed. Since then, life has been more peaceful. The monarchy and modern politics. In 2022, Queen Elizabeth II died after ruling for 70 years. She was loved by many people for her calm and steady presence. Her son became King Charles III. Today, the UK is a constitutional monarchy. That means the king has a symbolic role, but real power belongs to the parliament, which is elected by the people. The Prime Minister is the head of the government. Britain faces many challenges: climate change, immigration, rising prices, and keeping the country united. But it also has many strengths: its people, history, creativity, and strong democracy. Britain today. Today, Britain is a modern and diverse country. People of many races, religions, and languages live there. They work together, study, and build new ideas. The UK is known for its universities, such as Oxford and Cambridge. It is famous for books, like Harry Potter, for films, like the James Bond series, and for its music, like Adele and Ed Sheeran. British people care about fairness, nature, and each other. They love tea, football, and talking about the weather. They enjoy old traditions, but also welcome change. Final words. The story of Great Britain is long and full of change. From ancient times to today, it has faced war, peace, struggle, and progress. It has grown from a small island to a global power and then to a modern nation finding its new place in the world. Now you know its story, told in simple English, so you can understand and enjoy it. Thanks for reading. Keep learning, and who knows? One day, you might visit Britain and walk through its history yourself.